Hi everybody, Sammy here, otherwise known as Skullgrim1Fro, and I am back for another video. Yes, it's been a while, I know. It seems that whenever I do a video, I always go ahead and start off by saying it's been a while. That seems to be a constant thing now. I have no excuse. What more do you want? And as you can pretty much already tell, I have had a haircut. Yes, something new, something different. But yeah, what am I doing today? I'm doing a vlog because I want to talk about some stuff, some things have happened in my life. And I just want to explain why I haven't really been on here as much, which is why I'm doing this video. So I think the first thing you're probably wondering is, yes, different look, haircut, style. Simple answer is I wanted to have a change because I've been having long hair now since 2005 and I haven't had it cut since then. And I noticed as time went on, I have been getting a lot of split ends. And that's the problem with long hair when you think about it, especially if you're a man and you have long hair. You have to constantly keep it in shape. You have to constantly make sure that you are keeping your hair as neat and as tidy as possible. And I've never had a problem with that. But the problem is, when you get split ends, it can kind of drive you nuts. So, yeah, and I don't know why, but for some reason with this hairstyle I've got going on, I look like Emo Phillips. And if you don't know who Emo Phillips is, he's a comedian, look him up. And he's also a Cuba in Adventure Time, if you've ever watched that show. But yeah, at this length, I can do this. So I can have my hair just slicked back, and make it look as even weirder as possible. You know, originally I was going to have it all just shaved off, but then it would look kind of silly. You know, and nobody wants to see me bald, so yeah, I'm not gonna do that at some point, unless I was really drunk or was trying to do something of a dare. But yeah, just having my hair at this length, it evens out, I guess, and that as well, it'll grow back. So, and plus with my hair as well. My hair has been known to grow back quite quickly because when I had a haircut a while back, when it was quite short, well, not short, but when it was like this length, I stupidly did it myself. So I went to actually have a professional do this, but when I had it cut short, yeah, it looked silly. So then, of course, over time, I just let it go back out. So no doubt this will go back at the same time as well. Hopefully by the end of this month or the end of the next, because my hair grows quite quickly. So yeah, that explains why I wanted to have a haircut. Plus, the more I looked at it as well, the more it was kind of a bit misshapen and a bit crappy in places. Hence the split ends. So yes, that's the reason why I wanted to have a haircut. Anyway, yeah, I'm doing a rambling, talking thing, moving my hands, because moving my hands symbolizes that I have something to talk about. Anyway, yeah, I haven't been doing any videos recently, and originally I said I was going to do more, but, I just really haven't had the mood or the right time to really do videos. Things have come up that have made me a bit unenthusiastic regarding video making. That as well, things have just come along to make me lose interest in video making and move on to different things to keep me busy, which I'll get onto in the video. The one important thing, which explains why, and I've been more focused on this than anything else, I had an interview a while ago, back in January of this year, and it was for a job that I recently got, and the job, of course, was working in the school crossing patrol, basically just helping children across the street in the morning and in the afternoons when they get to and from school. And this job was at a local school that I went to back when I was a child, and I had the interview a while back, and surprisingly I got the job, but when I heard back from them in the afternoon. The only problem, though, with that was, and I'm not sure if the person who did the interview is watching this video now, and I'm not going to mention any names, but the job, from what I found out, was kind of put on a hiatus, a temporary hiatus, and the more I got a little bit anxious with waiting, and really finding out what happened to this job, because keeping in mind it wasn't just me who was employed by these people, but other people as well, and we were expecting to have a trial to get properly started into this job. And yeah, so the reason for this hiatus was because of budget constraints. The reason for this job was because of that. So yeah, newly employed people who were expecting to get into this job and then eventually have a trial to start off this job. No, sorry, start the trial off to then proceed by doing this job. Yeah, the job was kind of put on a hiatus, and I've been waiting since then. We are now in April of 2014. Depending on when you're watching this as well, it won't really matter, but we are now in April of 2014, and yeah, I've been waiting for quite a while, and it's kind of been annoying, quite honestly, and it's been pissing me off a little bit because, as I've mentioned before, I've been looking for a job since 2009, since I left college, and for something like this to finally happen and get my hopes up and then just go on a hiatus is kind of annoying. So, a while ago I looked into the whole job thing and finding out what happened to this, and yeah, the whole budget constraints thing, I already explained that. And then I think the reason because the budget constraints was there was mostly due to the fact that they didn't have the school crossing patrol job in which employed me. The reason they didn't have the reason the job was on a hiatus was because, like I said, budget constraints was because they didn't have enough money. They didn't have enough money to pay their new employees. So yeah, that's probably why. And from what I heard, the position was cancelled. So yeah, that kind of really puts me in a position because now I've got to go back out there and look for a job again because I really thought that this was going to be it. And the funny thing is, the people who interviewed me were really enthusiastic about having me in this job, and they wanted me, and I wanted to be in this particular job because for a while I've been doing volunteering, and yeah, it's kind of fucking annoying, honestly, and it's not fair. And I know that sounds a little bit childish to say it's not fair, but for someone like me who has been searching for a job for quite a long time, since I left college, and to finally have something like this come along, and then have it get snatched away because of some unfortunate circumstance, yeah. It's fucking annoying. So, yeah, I'm bitching about something that I really wanted for myself, and now it's job non-existent. So, yeah, that's the one thing that I really want to talk about, which is why I haven't really been doing any videos. I know that might sound a little bit silly for this one thing to prevent me from getting on here and making a video, but yeah, I've been kind of devoting my time to focusing on what's going to happen to me in this job that I really wanted to do. But hey-ho, these things come and go as they do. Yeah, that's fucking stupid. What else has been happening? Something a little bit more optimistic now, because I want to change the mood of this video a little bit. Yeah, something a little bit more optimistic. I got given something to me quite recently, and that would be this. My first tablet. And it's a Samsung one, yeah. I've been kind of avoiding modern technology for a while, because normally, when something new comes along, I'm the first person to normally just move away from it, because I like things to be simple and old, which is why I use an MP3 player, surprisingly. I use an MP3 player instead of an iPod. I had an iPod a while ago, but I stopped using it. But yeah, I got given to me this tablet by my sister, which is oh, can't see it now, but yeah, starting up. There we go. Yeah, it's a Samsung tablet, a Galaxy one, I think. And so far, I've still been trying to figure out how this thing works. All I've been doing with it so far is to, like a lazy person would do, this is by my bedside, and I'd be lying in my bed in the morning and just turning this on. It's like, I can't be bothered to get up and use the computer, so I'm using this instead. But yeah, the current screen for it, which of course is Katsuya Terada's The Monkey King, which if you've never read the manga, I would seriously recommend you do. But of course, open this thing up, and voila, you got this thing fully working in order. And like I said, I am still trying to figure out how this thing works. I'm going through a lot of the apps and seeing what the currently is. So far, there isn't really anything at the moment which appeals to me. Mostly, I've been using this thing to check Facebook. And funny thing is, Dave Shotton, Dave's Transformers Junk Heap mentioned this in a video a while ago that he did regarding the fact that almost everyone now is on their phone or their iPhone or their iPad or whatever the fuck they call it nowadays to check Facebook, and that's kind of really doesn't that seem frightening though? How far we have moved as a civilization to make things like this, but we are constantly relying on things like this to check the time, to look at Twitter, to look at Facebook, to look at basically anything on here, and we very rarely look at anything else. Yeah, so we are essentially the zombies of our day and age. Because you always go on the internet and look up like, pictures of zombies, and the first thing that you'll see is like pictures of children in like their teens up to their early 20s looking at this gadget. And I will say right away one thing. I will say right now regarding this thing is this is an interesting piece of gadgetry. I think this is like 20 years ago we never would have had this. And I think it's amazing on so many levels how we have this thing at our complete disposal. But this isn't the one reason why I haven't been making any videos. I've been just tinkering with this thing, trying to figure out how this thing works. And it's an amazing piece of work. So yeah, I mean you can get everything. You can get Google, you can get fucking Facebook, you can get the I'm trying not to spend the whole video just looking at this thing. But yes, I get the point. Fuck off. Yeah, I've been trying to get this whole thing working. I can access Google easily enough, and I can access Facebook easily enough. But since I'm the sort of person that very rarely differs onto new forms of technology, I would only use this thing in dire circumstances where, say for example, this wasn't working, and I had to use this as a way of getting by. The only problem with this thing though is that because, like for example, if you're on Google and you want to look something up, like for example, you want to look up the name of a milk company or a shoe distributing company, like who the fuck looks at a shoe distributing company? I ask you that, but yeah, like anything. Like, say for example, if you want to look up anything, you have to type it in, and you have to hang on, come on, fuck. What? You have to type it in, and you have to use this thing, which I don't like this at all. I really wish that there was an alternative way of using this thing, because you have to go onto the search bar, you have to go into the keyboard, you have to type it in using all this shit. And like it's needless, honestly. I wish that there was an alternative way of doing that, but you know what? It's the simplest way of getting by. So anyway, yeah, I've been tinkering around. I've been tinkering around with this, and I think it's a fun little piece of gadgetry. I like it, and I'm grateful that it was given to me. And I probably won't be using it as much because, like I said, I like to spend most of my time reading books, which is why recently I've been reading this, Friedrich Nietzsche's Beyond Good and Evil, which is a very weird book for me to be reading. But you know what? The time is right for me to get into philosophy, so why not? But yeah, I've been given this, and I like it. It's a fun piece of mechanical debauchery. I think it does what it needs to do. And normally and like I said, I've been using this thing to check YouTube as well, which is uncomfortable as well, especially with the whole search thing. But yeah, I like this thing a lot. So a big thanks to my sister for giving it to me. What else have I been doing, which explains why I haven't been on here active as much? I've been drawing, surprisingly. A while ago, I said that my biggest hobby is that I like to either do voice acting or I like to draw. And when I said I like to draw, I didn't spend nearly enough time focused on this hobby. Nowadays, I'm more entrenched in this hobby as much as I was when I was younger. Because when I was younger, I was enthusiastic about the idea of drawing, and when I got into school, something about it really just put me off. I think it was just the way that the art teachers that I had were very unenthusiastic about me wanting to try new things and saying, "Oh no, you have to learn this. You have to learn this because what I say is right." Apparently, yeah, fucking idiots. Yeah, but at the moment, I'm just currently showing you what I've been doing. Broken Saints and stuff. I love Broken Saints. What more can I say? But yeah, Broken Saints, as well as just the frequent sketches that I do, which is it ranges from time to time. It's not anything specific, but I mostly range from like doing like portraits of various video game and comic book characters, which is something that I like to do. I want to try and move away from that now because the one thing I've noticed, especially when getting adjusted into this whole drawing thing, is I have been trying to do inking and coloring, and with the way that my coloring works, like for example, this is a portrait of John Constantine. My coloring is a little bit messy, and I use felt tip pens. Like for example, these, which I got from Hobbycraft. But yeah, my coloring is a little bit messy, so apologies if this is nothing really all that up there with any digital forms of art. But for the moment, I like doing everything practical, so this is something to keep me busy for a while. And like I said, really, the one thing that I love about art, especially with drawing, is that it's a good way to get some of that anxiety and all that negative feeling out there and putting it on a form of paper just to really keep you going. And the one thing that I love mostly about art is that with art you can do anything. And, you know, whether it's like video games or movies or comic books, art has a way of really bringing your ideas on paper. And like whether for example you're in the comic industry and you are a trained artist to really like for example you've been going to art school, and like that's on my to-do list actually, is to go to art school and learn how to properly draw. But when you are properly seeped into this found hobby, and you have been doing this thing mostly all your life, and like you get a professional career as like a comic book artist, it really is fun. I think I can't speak for anybody who does this as like a professional career, but and since my interest is mostly voice acting, but having properly been geared into this hobby now quite a lot, recent piece of work is Sanjuro from Akira Kurosawa's Yojimbo, and Sanjuro as well. I find this hobby to be quite relaxing. The one thing that I find myself doing quite a lot is when I'm drawing, is I'm sitting in the dark and I have like the desk lamp on, and my headphones plugged in, and my music loud as can be, to really drown out all the bullshit in the real world and focus all that bullshit onto drawing something here. You know, I think it's the I honestly don't know what it is. I think it's the fact that you have to have some sort of negative emotion to really get some of your art on paper, to really give you the motivation you need to draw something that you really like to draw. It's weird, I know, but you know, it's fun. Especially, it's fun to really to have all that negative. Well, I'm not saying it's fun to be negative, because I've been negative a lot of the times. I've been depressed a lot of the times. And when you're depressed or angry, and this might not work for some people, but it works for a few people as well. If you're negative or unhappy, it can affect the work you do. But for me, I think if you're at your lowest point in your life and you need to find a way of getting rid of that emotion, I find drawing actually helps. So, yes, this is the main reason why I haven't really been making any videos, is because I've been more focused on drawing. That and getting back into voice acting. So, yeah, I'm sorry if anybody who watches my stuff really shows why I've been not as enthusiastic. And, you know, I keep making these videos explaining why I haven't been doing any video, why I find it so hard to make a video, is because, you know, this whole YouTube thing, I think it's a fun way of getting your hobby out there. But, you know, it's trying to find the motivation and getting in the right mood to really talk about the thing you want to talk about. Which is why I haven't been really doing reviews as much, because I find the whole review thing kind of really fading out a little bit. People will disagree with me on this, but I find the whole reviewing thing is kind of fading out a little bit. But you know what? the channels that you do doesn't necessarily always have to be about videos. So, you know, one day when I figure out how it works, I'll probably do a live stream of drawing. Maybe, I don't know. So, and also, gonna be self-indulgent for a second. I have a DeviantArt account. If anybody wants to follow me, if anyone who is an artiste, well, that's not a bit French, but yeah, sorry, artiste. There you go. Yeah, anyone who's anyone who's okay. Going off on this for a second. A while ago, I had a DeviantArt account that was quite old. It was called Inferno 933, and that was the reason for that account was a while ago. I was mostly doing nothing but like crudely painting Transformers instructions that I had found on the internet on Hasbro's main site, and making new characters for projects that I would never ever get done. That account's now gone now, so now I have a new account, which is the Skullgrin140 DeviantArt. So the link's in the description box below if you want to follow me, if you want to watch my stuff. Go right ahead, because, like I said, I opened this account quite recently, and, you know, we're in a new year, and I want to have a fresh start. So a fresh start for something new. But yeah, I wanted to just get this video out there because, just to really explain why I haven't really been on here as much. Okay, I promise now, I'm going to do another video, but it's going to be of something different. I won't tell you what it is, although I have mentioned so many times that I would do specific videos, not just of reviews. So you can probably guess where this is going or not. But yeah, next video I do, it will be soon, okay? It will be soon. The video I do will be soon. It will probably be a collection video, no doubt, because I really had a lot of fun talking about the movies that I had in my own collection, like the action movies that I have. So keep an eye out for that. Doesn't matter what the collection will be, but just keep an eye out for that because that's what I will be talking about. So, anyway, yes, I just wanted to ramble about my hair, ramble about my life, ramble about this, ramble about artistic pursuing hobby, and you know what? It's good to have hobbies. It's good to keep yourself going. So, anyway, with that being said, this has been just a vlog of me rambling about incoherent bollocks. I'm Skullgrin140. Until then, everybody, I will see you all soon. Take care.